Hi, this is your Houston chiropractor, Dr. Gregory Johnson, and today we're going to be going over rehabilitation of a foot and ankle after, I'm sure you remember Dana's video a couple weeks ago when she was wearing that humongous boot on her left foot that she'd had on for 12 weeks. We sent her off to a sports orthopedic surgeon who agreed with me and got her out of that boot immediately. So as you can see, she's now walking around in tennis shoes. But it's very important to get started on her rehab, which is what we're going to show you today for the foot and the ankle. Okay, why don't you go ahead and take your shoes off. Yeah, that's fine. Anywhere you'd like. And as you can see, she's actually moving around better wearing her tennis shoes. Feels good to be back in regular shoes, huh?
Very much.
Yeah, she was tired of that boot, and so were we. Alright, so let's just come over here, and we're going to have you lay on your tummy right here. Now, rehabilitation of any kind, post-surgically, post-fracture, post-injury, involves what's called remodeling of the soft tissues, meaning the muscles and the ligaments. Now, we have already done measurements on her mid-calf and her ankles on both sides, as well as across the top of her foot. So we have an objective measurement prior to this initiation of the rehab. Now, what we do, we find some very tender spots in her calves because she's been walking with altered ambulatory kinetics for quite some time, putting different stresses and strains on the muscles utilized in walking, all the way from her foot up. Now, you can see in this that her right leg is a ½ an inch short in the prone position. As I actually bring them up, look there, they get even already. And they stay even, and feel that tightening up in your lower back, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, that's called a positive knotless and then a positive Deerfield. The right leg actually got even with the left one when I brought it up. That tells us she doesn't have an anatomical short leg, but a functional short leg. So, we're going to start with her left foot, and I'm going to show you what we do first, and that is we put it through a passive range of motion, which at first can be very, very painful. So we're doing it slowly, and we put it through all kinds, flexion, extension, internal and external, rotation, as well as circumduction bilaterally. But then we actually, and then also you can, now feel that right there, huh?
Yeah.
She's developed what's called plantar fasciitis, which is a trigger point basically that develops in the plantar surface or the bottom of the foot. And we put some pretty heavy pressure on that just to help get the toxins and the metabolic waste products of normal cellular metabolism out of there. And she hasn't had this done the whole time because she's been in that boot. So this is only her third treatment, actually, on her ankle. And you notice we put it through passive range. Now I'm going to do what's called active resistive. So go ahead and push against my hand. Very good. Now, she can't push real hard yet because there's still a lot of pain. Now go ahead and push against my hand there. Now this is a lot weaker because she can't really flex that foot forward very much. Now I want you to push against my hand with there, big toe, and back down, big toe. Very good. Okay, now I'm actually going to put this one down. Now we're going to do both of them just because it's very good to do things symmetrically. Now you can see she has a much greater range of motion and without pain on this right side. Look at the difference. Much better flexion, extension, circumduction, internal and external rotation. Much better. Now push. See, this is a ton stronger. Push. Yeah, ton stronger. Now you still hear some crepitus or grinding in this ankle actually because of the altered ambulatory kinetics, which is what made this ankle go out of place as well. So what we're going to do now is have you turn on your back, and what I'm going to be showing you now is an actual adjustment of the ankle, the talus, where it connects with the tibia and the fibula on both sides. And you can see her right leg is still 1/2 inch short down here. Now we're going to start with the bad. I want you just to breathe for me. Here's the talus. You want to grab it right here. Excellent. Very nice. Now you felt that not only here, but all the way up, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Now, as you notice, see, I'm putting some internal rotation into her foot, and I actually felt some good movement through there. Now we're doing this little piggy, and then this little piggy, and this little piggy. And we do every single one of these joints so that we can get her foot moving. Now, again, we want to have her push, active, resistive, pull, active, resistive. Now push out, active, resistive, in, active, resistive, push, and much better, and pull, and much better. So we've actually increased the strength tremendously on that, and just from doing that on her bad ankle, the left one. Now there was the right one. I'm sure you heard that all the way over there. And you notice that I adjust both of her ankles and feet exactly the same so that we can have symmetry. Now, because she's been walking like this, the tibialis anterior, which runs from the knee all the way down to the ankle on both sides, has gotten very tight. Much worse over here on this right one, where she's had to put a lot more of her walking when she pushes off of her toes. See, that's what causes this muscle to go into action. So what I'm doing right now is called muscle spindle and Golgi tendon apparatus work, where we're actually digging right into the middle of the tibialis anterior and affecting the muscle spindle as well as the Golgi tendon apparatus, and it will help relax those muscles. Now we're going to move both feet. Now look there, we got very good and similar range of motion in flexion. Now look at that, see, very similar, very nice. Now here's where she has a big difference. See, this one externally rotates a lot more than this one so far. So we'll keep working on that. Now internal rotation is fairly symmetrical, but that probably hurts more, doesn't it? Yeah. On this side? Yeah. So what we've done now is realigned the feet. We've done passive range of motion exercises as well as active resistive exercises. We've also worked on the plantar fascia on the bottom of both ankles, or both feet I should say, on the plantar surface, and they're really sore. The left one is quite a bit worse than the right one, huh? Yes. Yes. Okay. Now, I will actually give her a full adjustment in her spine as well, but we wanted to show you how you actually rehabilitate a foot and ankle if it's been fractured, healed up properly, and has been wearing a cast or boot for 6 to 8 or 12 weeks. It gets atrophied, it gets weak, it also is very dysfunctional and causes a person to walk with altered ambulatory kinetics. So rehabilitation as quickly as possible is very important. This is your Houston chiropractor, Dr. Gregory Johnson. We'll see you next time.